right, we're switching on to another really big pivotal time in your life. So, again, super grateful and love that you're happy to speak about this because it's very personal and young still, I think. So, again, seeing you so happy and being your best incredible self makes us so proud for you, and we just love you so much. You know how much we love you, and everybody loves you. So through all of what we've talked about, you're a different kiddo, cool as, really happy to be in your own skin, completely lost that through high school, and then had your ADD, anxiety, severe depression, suicidal intent, and that in itself took a long time to heal from that whilst trying to get you through high school, right? Yeah. Which you did. Woohoo! And now you've still got friends from high school that, you've got to a place of understanding, and it's been beautiful to watch, but there's been a lot of pain to watch, through that. So the other huge part of who you are is that you, realising all that, that you are gay. You like girls, and we used to joke about that. Yeah. Because you were so cute. I'm so going to tell that story. Yeah, totally. You're the cutest thing ever. So,
what year was that? Year 6?
Yeah, maybe 5 or 6. So again,
year 5 was year 5.
Year 5. So the reason I've shared some of those pivotal stories of like literally living in Greg the Wiggles outfit. Yeah. Like picture that, so cute, curly hair, all the time. Mm-hmm. Could hardly get it off you to wash. So cute. But you chose the man. So cute. As you got older, it wasn't like you were into trucks and stuff, like you used to play with dollies, but as you got older, very much tomboyish, and, got along with boys. And like I said, when we used to do the weekly Moala plays, you were the boy with no shirt on.
Okay.
So cute though, because you know what? We were watching it the other day. I think I sent it to you, and like, we all just loved you. So it wasn't like
someone had to do it.
She's gay. I just think that, and I'm not saying that this is going to be everybody's journey, but, we used to openly sort of go joke about it. And then, April Fools, I was ironing in the laundry. Didn't know it was April Fools.
Did you ever have like an inkling?
Absolutely. That's what I mean. Yeah. Definitely had an inkling, but still didn't think you were.
Really?
Nah. It's always the inkling. And this is where I wanted to talk about a bit on a parent side, if other mothers are going through it or been through it and stuff, it is different. So it's like something you have to process as a parent, but we'll get to that later. But absolutely an inkling, right? But still, no way. It's like, nah, you're going to get married, you're going to have kids, you're going to get married to a man. That's what everyone does, right? You're a girl.
Yeah, exactly.
That's we're all conditioned. Mm-hmm. But we used to joke about it. And then ironing and April Fools, didn't know it was. And she was year 5, and she's come up and she's like, "Oh, Mum, I've got something to tell you."
Oh God.
And I'm like, "What, darling?" She's like, "I'm gay." And I've gone,
this is like year 5.
Yeah.
Too.
And I went, "That's okay, darling." And you went, I'm only joking. And I was like, oh my gosh.
I got very defensive.
You got very defensive.
But also I didn't know at the time.
But I think you did.
No. I didn't know what it was.
This is what I've talked about to other people that I used to go out clubbing and used to have guy friends that were gay, and I used to love hearing people's stories. And one, I think I've told you this story.
Yeah.
His name was. Hi. And he was from a very small village in Philippines or something, and I was very young, naive, asking the question. I said, when did you realise you started liking boys? And he said, oh my gosh, like we were in this tiny little village, and when I start having those sort of dreams, it would be about boys. And he was like, I knew it was not right, and no one else ever talked about this. It was when he left at 17 and then realised, oh, okay, it's the thing. He's like, I've always felt like I was, or my sexual dreams were of boys. And I'm like, so interesting, right? Because we always talk about, and I talk about this with you and your girlfriend, is like, I don't think being gay is a choice. Mm-mm. I could be very wrong, and this is my little Moala bubble. I feel like the journey for you with life in itself, it's not an easy choice. It's still a minority. Yes, we live in a much more carefree world, but still people judge. They might judge with the eyes, or I don't know, but it's still a minority. You're a minority in Perth, even smaller, and younger, even smaller. Yeah. So, getting back to that, and again, you don't have to discuss if you don't want to. We saw that you were quite tomboyish, But was there starting a stage where you're like, oh, I quite like that girl?
Yeah, I
or-
remember it. I remember because I just thought that.
Everyone felt that.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. It was in primary school.
Yeah.
I remember because I was just like,
She's gorgeous.
I was like, she's really pretty.
Which we do.
Which is a
Like,
normal
I'm not
thing,
gay.
right?
Like, I've talked about this when you came out to us, and that'll be another story. And I'll finish up with this story. And I just said to you, well, sweetheart, you must be gay, because you went, I'm bi. And I'm like, okay. I'm thinking, sure.
Well, I
You think you were?
thought I was.
Yes.
Because
But I wonder if it's such a big shock.
depends. It's kind of like,
yeah, you know what I
it's
mean?
very
I
specific.
think, like I said, because it's a minority, you want to edge into it. Right.
You're like slow.
Yeah, because you always had boyfriends and stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It wasn't like it was you weren't attracted to boys. Look, I don't know. That's not my brain. But I remember having this conversation because we were having a big talk when you actually had that coming out conversation. And I said, sweetheart, I think you probably like girls, like you're gay, because I've never wanted to be with a woman. I think that women are gorgeous. I said, but I'm a pretty heterosexual person. And you went exactly that. You went, really?
Yeah, well,
You
again,
went, you've
same
never
with the
totally. And I
depression
went,
thing. I was like,
no.
what? I was like, I swear. I was like, there. Okay. I was
That's
like,
all you know,
at
though.
least there's like a little like, and
never.
but apparently not.
And look, there's definitely bi and all LGBTQ.
Yeah.
I'm not having a go at anybody else. You and me as a mother and a daughter, my version of how I've felt in my life, I've never had those feelings. And so that's, and for you to just, you were so perplexed.
I was like, huh?
Yeah. And I think people's sexuality is definitely more out there now, which is great.
Yeah.
I'm all for it, like, in our house, we've, even with the other girls, we're not one of those families to not talk about sex or anything like we're not doing rude stuff in front of people, but age appropriate.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is normal human stuff. Like,
Yeah.
Especially when you're teens, it's when you want to do it the most, right? So, not that we're just having big orgies anywhere, but comfortable conversation.
Right, yeah.
But, we're not afraid to have those conversations.
Yeah.
So you started feeling that. Do you feel like also sort of already you were feeling different being ADD and, not a cookie-cutter sort of girl? Do you feel like on reflection, like that mid to upper high school when you hadn't come out yet, that was a whole big full mask you had to keep hiding, that you like not liking girls?
Yeah. Well, it was, this was around like year 11, right?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't
And it
until
made
end
it
of year
easier because
12 you told us.
I had a girlfriend at the time and made it easier. If I just came out
But you didn't tell us until end of year 12. Like it was.
No, I didn't. It wasn't the end of year 12. It was year 11.
Right, this is where we're going to.
No, it was year 11.
You didn't go into year 12 being gay.
Yes, I did, Mum. Yes, I did. You remember.
Oh, I don't actually. Okay, that's okay. Okay.
Anyway.
Year 11.
Year 11.
I thought you'd left school.
It was like the end of year 11.
Okay, that's all right.
I remember because we were still in school.
Okay.
Because exams were on and everything like that.
That was year 12. It doesn't matter. We don't
Doesn't
argue
matter.
about it.
Anyway.
Year 11, 12. Yep.
Yeah. And what was the question again?
Do you feel like liking being gay?
Yeah.
And you in a private Catholic school, which I think they're pretty open to it now. It's not as strict as what it used to be, but still, again, that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like everyone's saying everyone's open to it all.
Yeah.
They're not really.
Not really, no.
And
they won't say anything, but then it doesn't mean that
that's what I mean. You didn't want to be judged and stuff. So do you feel at that stage where you started getting really, really down, which was about year 10 was its worst,
10,
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Do you feel that might have been a contributing factor to it as well?
Of course. Yeah, that definitely was. Because then I was like, oh my gosh. Because I was obviously still struggling with friends as well.
Yeah.
And then
There's
this
no
on top
way
of it, I was like,
yeah.
there's no way I'm going to have friends after
No,
this. Because I
totally.
thought it was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, totally.
But when I realized and I started, having a relationship with another girl, I was like, perfect timing because I only have a year left. And if they do judge me, then I can just...
And I think you just felt really like watching it on reflection, again, on our view compared to yours, is this girl came into our lives and she was quite shy and from another school and stuff like that. And she was nice. She was nice enough, but she was quite shy. But after quite a lot of time, you were very cozy.
Yeah.
Cozy on the couches and stuff. And remember I was saying to you...
I was like, friends do this.
I'm like...
Right? No.
Okay.
No,
And then
I don't.
what I was saying to you over those months is like, are you with her? No, definitely not. So there was quite a long time that you must have been with each other. And
it was a while.
Yeah.
It was a while.
Totes.
I remember Molly, this is before I came out to you.
Mm.
I was just woken up from a nap. You also woke me up from a nap and asked me.
No, we'll get to that. But
Doesn't matter.
yeah.
Let me tell you. I had just woken. No, I was still napping, and my sister Molly came in the room, and she just wanted to get out of me. I guess she hops on top of me and she like pins me. She goes, "Tell me you like her.
Yeah.
I know you do. I know you're gay. Just tell me." I
Really?
I was like held at gunpoint. I was like,
Oh my
yeah.
God.
She goes,
held at Molly
"See,
point.
I knew it."
Yeah.
And I was like, oh wait, that wasn't that bad.
Totally.
Because I thought Molly was going to judge me the most.
Yeah.
Still does. A little bit.
She does.
But like, she loves me enough to...
She loves you. And this
Yeah.
is the complexities of life, right? And families. This is why we want to be as open as we can. We love our Molly. Molly has no filter and we love it. And
Zero.
sometimes we're like, whoa. And I think it was even last night we were talking about it. Oh, it not being a choice. And being gay is not a choice. I mean gay, right? And well, it is a choice. You choose to do it, but I mean, it's, you know what I'm trying to say. And she's like, no, I still don't take that. Well, I still don't think so, Mum.
Yeah,
and
she's
I'm
very,
like,
very...
She is. And I said...
Oh, okay, that's your opinion.
Oh, totally. And we have these conversations. We laugh about it. She goes, I love Eloise very much. Like, and I said, I know you do. And I said, because her boyfriend then was there at the time, and I said...
Oh, was this at the table when I wasn't there?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
It was only us three.
Right.
And he's like, really? Because he was quite surprised as well. And
when Molly said that?
yeah. And
Aw.
I said, isn't it funny that we have a family that's very open?
Yeah.
Your girlfriends stay over, boyfriends stay over. Again, if you'd told me that 5 years ago, I would like, no way, because it was such traditional parenting of like, you do as we say, you know, no boyfriends, no, you know, and we've just had to evolve, right?
Yeah.
It's all going well at the moment.
Well, also,
Touch wood.
yeah.
But no, we've had to do a lot of work as a family and as parents to keep adjusting. Other people judge, other people will judge this. We're at a point, particularly Dave and I, that we don't care about the judgment at all. You guys are the most important thing, you know? But anyway, having a family that we all love you so much and your girlfriend is around all the time and everybody loves her too, Molly included, that Molly still thinks that.
I know.
Because I said to Molly, would you be with a girl? Would you want it? She's like, nah. She goes, oh,
She's
I
like,
suppose if you
ew,
paid.
no.
No, she goes, if you paid me. I know.
She said that.
So funny. I said, how much? She goes, oh, 10 grand. Anyway, we were having a
That's a
conversation.
lot.
But to be living in a space of we all love each other, we're loud, I call it my beautiful chaos. We accept each other for everything. And I don't know if that's the Catholic being brought up in her. I don't know. Again, no judgment on Catholics. But, we're all so open. Your dad's so open. Your grandparents have been great. Again, being great meaning if they weren't.
Just don't talk about it.
They definitely don't talk about it. But also if anyone in our life ever said anything derogatory or anything to you or us, we would no longer have them like cut and dry. It wouldn't matter if it's blood, family, whatever. You and the girls and Dave and I, the most important thing, and you know that, and I think that's been a really important thing without even saying that, is that, you know, we love everybody in our lives, but if anyone ever made you feel bad about that, you know what would happen to that relationship.
Yeah.
So then obviously that came out, and so then you've had a few relationships, and I think at times have been, you know, like, you know, a man-woman relationship. It's learning, it's young, you know, and stepping through it. And again, I remember when you came out and told us, but you feel like it's different. Do you feel like it got to the point of like, well, you know, okay, this girl's here and it is pretty cozy.
Yeah,
You've got to tell us. Did you feel safe enough? Because you were really upset when you told me. Like your words to me were that you were hysterical. You had been crying. I had been away on a girls' weekend and you were in my bed crying. And
swear I had work, maybe.
I know. It's okay.
Okay.
This is
Okay.
I wasn't drunk. And I'm like, what's wrong, sweetheart? I'd been away for the weekend and you were like hysterical wheeze. And I went, what's wrong? And you said, I'm going to tell you something. Promise not to kick me out. And I went, that would never happen. Like, you know, like I'd probably bury a body for you. Shouldn't say that, but
was scared how you'd react.
That's right.
Because it's not the normal.
This is what's so interesting and why I want people to hear this, and maybe a younger person that might find it hard or whatever. And some parents are obviously not going to be as open. I get that. That still happens. But for us, we not only joked about it, it was talked about in funny ways, but your pain was so real that we would kick you out or that we'd not love you or something.
Yeah.
Like, can you remember that?
Yeah. Well, I was more scared that.
Judged?
No, just more like how you would, if you'd see me differently.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
In a way of like, I don't know, because I didn't really know because obviously you always be accepting, but if you'd be comfortable with it.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
And I think that's what I talk about.
Yeah.
The acceptance is like, everyone's like, oh, that's great. I'm like, yeah, it is, fine. But you're exactly right. It's not the norm, right? So if someone who is gay feels so strongly, like you have to learn to love yourself again, basically, don't you?
Yeah,
I would say, in a way.
Because it's not something that you keep in anymore.
No, but it's also the different thing, so you feel like you're going to be judged. So I remember something at work not that long ago, maybe last year, with situations in life that I won't go into, and I went, well, did you tell your boss about this, about the girlfriend and that? And you went, oh, no, they don't know I'm gay.
Yeah, well, you just got to be, it's like stepping stones.
I know. I get that.
You really
babe,
don't know
I get
how
that.
people are going to react.
Babe,
I don't really care anymore.
I love that.
But
I love that. But
fresh
we're,
out.
3 years fresh out?
Fresh
out of the cupboard,
fresh out.
fresh out of the closet. But this is what I want to talk about is it's a rough road. It's not easy, you know. And for parents, the biggest thing I want to say to parents is, do you love your child? Of course you do. Then nothing else should matter. Like really, when we all come to the end of our lives, what does it come down to is our family, the people we love and how we have been on this earth. You know, I know people struggle and stuff and life's not easy, I get that. But I don't give a shit if you live with us for the rest of your life. Your dad won't be happy with that.
Won't be doing that,
and I know you don't want to be.
I'd be like, why
am I doing this? I don't know. It's like I'm whispering so Dad doesn't hear. And he loves you so much. And, you know, again, that stage of my life I'm looking forward to too. But what I always want for you girls, and you know this, is we're always there for you. Like go out, spread your wings, be yourselves, but we're always going to be here. We'll have a house for you if you need, like that you're not in the world by yourself.
Yeah.
And what I had growing up is, you know, was a bit complicated and we won't go into that. But I think if you can stay connected to your children, even when they feel very disconnected to you, just even a message, you know, I'm here for you, you know, because
that can also be confusing. Because if you said, you know, like how sometimes we'd have arguments, right?
Did we? We did not.
Sometimes, rarely. It's a rare occasion. You know what I mean? Where. Or like say like with Molly and stuff like that. You'd have arguments and you'd say things obviously out of anger.
Oh, totally.
Really mean, but then you'd send a message afterwards.
Okay,
saying,
that pissed you off.
No, not piss me off, but it would just like be like confusing because you're like now you're saying like I appreciate it, but it's confusing because then why did you say et cetera, et cetera. But
well, like, I've just had a light bulb because I do it to Molly and Izzy all the time.
No, you've changed with that now.
Have I?
Yes, because you actually don't. You used to be very forward with me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You were always forward about how you felt.
Right.
You never really hold back. But then we rarely got messages.
Well,
I really got
tell
any
me the truth. I know,
but
like, exactly.
With Molly, you're like, you say how you feel, but in a way that it's not shoving it down your throat.
100%, yeah. I've definitely changed with that.
Yeah.
And I think, thank the Lord, that our relationship was different like that. And it's not Molly's fault and whatever, but because you really leaned on me with a different type of personality, I've kind of felt really close to you even at really tough times. And we didn't argue a lot, right? But see, with Molly, she's so fiercely independent and didn't need me through her tough times. That was my issue of her not wanting me, but also learning how to reach.
She does.
I know, and I knew she's an amazing kid, but she's a strong-willed kid, and there's a lot of strong-willed kids out there, and I'm sure the parents are going to listen to this. The strong-willed kids are like, "What the fuck do I do?" It's all doable. Having 3 kids that are all so different is adjusting the parenting, but it is, like you said, making it more about me than the child.
Yeah,
yeah. No, that's a big thing.
Yeah. But we'd also, you wouldn't send messages because we'd apologise after.
I know. We were
Like
always
face
good
to
at that.
face. We were
I
always
know.
good with that.
We were like, sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Or we'd get distracted
Mm.
and we'd forget that we're arguing.
I know.
It's a win-lose
I
situation.
know. Different dynamics of
Yeah,
different
exactly.
different
Yeah, yeah.
personalities. And I think what I wanted to reflect on too, and being honest without upsetting you, because you know how supportive and how much I love you.
Yeah.
And how, you know, again, a bit of a funny story with Dad. So that time you came out and we were talking about it and I'm like, who is it? And you said the name and I'm like, oh, well. And I think you also said we got so much into the relationship, you and her, and we just thought you were friends and you kept telling us you were friends, that you'd been actually probably lying to us. I think you felt bad getting into that lie a little bit as well.
Yeah,
you know,
because it was a long
like hiding
time.
it from us. But that's okay. But then I'm like, you better tell Dad. And you're like, no, I don't want to tell Dad.
I was
I know you
terrified.
were. Do you remember what he said? It was
Yes,
so funny.
he made
so
joke.
good. It was so your dad.
Mm.
And I'm so proud of
He
him because
laughed
he's a
and he made a
manly
joke and
man,
then he walked
Aussie
away.
man, isn't he? You know, like he's a bloke.
He
And
laughed. I was like, oh, okay.
yeah, he was amazing. And so I'm like, you've got to tell him. And so he's come in and he's like, what? Like, I'm like, Dave, you've got to come in here. And I said, oh, Weezer's got something to tell you. And you like upset. And I just said, oh, she's gay. And he laughed. He went, and he went, welcome to the alphabet. And we went, what?
I was like,
And he went, LGBTQ. I don't even know it,
Yeah.
which is really bad. Apologies for not knowing it properly. LGBTQ.
I don't really know it either,
plus.
I'm going to be honest.
We should know it.
Sorry.
I should. Apologies for not knowing that. I will
Sorry,
find
guys.
it.
Sorry.
But you know, he did. He was
Yeah.
so lighthearted about it, and he's done nothing but love you through it.
Yeah.
But I do know, you know, for him, he just loves you. But where I wanted to come as a mum and a dad, it doesn't come without concerns and adjustments.
Yeah.
Right? We're very close. We love you. We're accepting. But we've had to do a lot of our own inner work with that because it isn't the norm.
Yeah.
It isn't the narrative, white picket fence, Eloise gets married to a bloke and has kids.
Yeah.
Not one has to do that. That's ridiculous. Don't have kids if you don't want to. Be with whoever you want. But, you know, we were living in this very, you know, middle class, or are living in this world. Anyway. And so the adjustment for me was all about me, not about you. Right?
Right.
And so what I did is I owned it really quickly and then I was not ashamed to tell, right?
Mm.
And so what I have seen elsewhere, some parents I don't know if they feel ashamed or embarrassed that it's not the norm. They don't talk about it. They try and hide it, right?
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing as a parent is all you come back to is how much do you love that child and do you want your beautiful child to be by themselves in this world? And then you've got to do the adjusting, you know?
Yeah.
Because really what it comes down to, especially with all the mental health and the severities of where you're at, and this sounds so cliche, yes, we want you to work hard, have a successful life and all of that, but also be happy.
Yeah.
You know, I know you can't be happy all the time, but like happy with whatever you want. You know, be with the same sex, you know, do whatever, like really truly be happy. And we've seen that of recent with the person that you're with now. You are so yourself. Oh, look at that smile on your face.
Oh,
Can't name names.
Go.
But you know, everything you've been through and we've been through as a family, I'm just so proud of. Again, I keep saying proud, but I'm just grateful.
Yeah.
Because if we looked at things differently and went, no, they can't come over, or no, we don't like that you're being gay or whatever, you know, because that's what some parents say, is like, okay, we know you are, but you can't bring them home or whatever it might be. I don't know, you know, or that's a normal thing as well, is it's like self-reflection as a parent is like, I love my child. How can I grow with this?
Yeah.
Yes? No? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Mm.
But yeah.
It's still an adjustment is what I was saying.
Yeah. As humans, we all are.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
It's not, we don't just stay the same, really.
Yeah. But it feels really good to be at our space now, which is 3 or so years down, and we're just so happy with everything.
Yeah.
Yeah? Is that how you feel?
I agree. No, I definitely agree. It took a while.
Long time. Like I said, it takes years.
Yeah.
I think people expect to feel a certain way and move through that quickly, but it takes time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it does.
And being open and conversing about stuff of what you're comfortable or not comfortable. We've done that as well over the last few years. like, okay, that's fine that your girlfriend's over, but look, you know.
You know, between Molly and
Molly and her boyfriend, yeah.
Silver lining between Molly and her boyfriend.
Mm.
And then, no, this is me and my
Yeah.
girlfriend. Because you know. So what was it again? It was because I can't really remember.
The story. What?
It's obviously very different. Because
With different people?
A boy.
Oh, totally.
You know,
yeah.
like sleepovers and then.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're trying to say.
You know what I'm trying to say?
So what also happened, which is another funny story, I may as well share it, is again, like I said, 5 years ago, before everything, your dad and I were quite traditional in our parenting of like, no, you're not sleeping over. Boys and girls are not sleeping over. Boyfriends aren't sleeping over, right? Because we thought we could control that, but no. Anyway, so
Turns out I was the opposite.
Oh my gosh! So in you being the eldest and then being gay, then we had to adjust to.
Because I have 2 younger sisters.
Yes, you have a 14-year-old sister and she was younger, and you had Molly. But again, in our mind, we were thinking, okay, whatever big things we decide yes on for you, we have to decide yes for the other ones, right? So we still were quite decisive on some of those things. So as you were coming out of really bad depression and we just wanted you to be happy, and, you know, there were so many times that you were starting to be yourself and you'd ask for the girlfriend to stay over, we were like, yes, you can sleep on the couch. And then about a week after.
Oh, yeah.
Remember?
I forgot that happened.
Oh, yeah, we tried. And then it was like, oh, this is ridiculous. And then I think you came out and said, you know, you just asked and your dad went, oh, okay.
Fine.
Right? Yeah. And it wasn't like we just went, oh, this is ridiculous trying to keep this fight. Because, again, we'd been through such sadness and we love you so much. We weren't giving in to you just because, you know, you're a good person.
Nicely.
You're a very nice person.
Never pushed it.
You were feeling happy. We didn't want to make you feel any more shit than you already had been, right? And so, you know, we were playing that fine line. Then fast forward, so many other things had happened, but, you know, girlfriends had been staying over. And then with Molly just turning 18 last September, absolutely no boyfriend staying over. No way, no way, no way. And she didn't really have a boyfriend, actually.
No, it wasn't a boyfriend.
No,
he wasn't a boyfriend at the time.
She might have had flings, but she'd asked and we're like, no, unless it's a boyfriend. We're trying to hold off as long as possible. Anyway, Molly turned 18 and then sort of in that time had met this guy and we'd heard about him. We were thinking she liked him and stuff like that. But then she said, oh, can he stay over? Wasn't a boyfriend. And we've gone, absolutely not. Wait until if a boy, because, you know, we've got younger sister here. We don't want you bringing boys in and out, you know, like trying to keep that boundary. And then, oh my gosh, then someone new in your life came in and pretty quickly had stayed over and we really liked her and we're pretty open to that because you're 20. You know?
Yeah.
And you still ask and stuff. It's a family home and oh my gosh. She'd asked.
No, she had walked in
and
she's gone. And she's gone straight out. She goes,
mind.
Molly went nuts.
Yeah, which was So she got really angry because, you know, that wasn't fair. This person wasn't a girlfriend and all of that. And so
I didn't even think of that.
Well, Molly made us let it.
Yeah,
Molly let us know.
Anyway,
very long story short, yes, where we're getting at is yes, her boyfriend stays over now. She, you know, whatever, they're together, but it strangely is a very different feeling as a parent, and I don't know how to word it.
Yeah,
to allow you have your girlfriend there and having Molly have the boyfriend, very unfair. And when she said it's so unfair, it actually got me because I'm like, yeah, you're so right. It's really unfair.
Listened.
I do try to listen.
You do listen.
But again, getting back to what you were trying to say before, this is the concept of society and you know, the good and bad of like that seems worse that a boy and a girl can sleep together but a girl and a girl can't.
Yeah, because it's like that's apparently like well, friends
doesn't make sense.
And stuff like
I think
that,
someone said they might get pregnant. I'm like, really? You're not going to get pregnant in the back of a car?
Yeah, or like, yeah.
And the other thing is when I say that we're open about talking about sex is like we're not all having an orgy everywhere, but I think it's really, really normal for young people to be sexually active safely and don't shame them for that.
Yeah.
Don't shame that. I don't want to know what you're doing. You don't want to know what me and Dad are doing.
Mum.
I know, it's gross. What I'm trying to get to is as your children grow, we've got to stop parenting. You have to mentor and earn your respect enough that they want to do the right thing by you and, you know, it's your family home. So it's rather than you do as I say, it's like, hey, this is our family home. These are the morals and stuff like that. And that's conscious parenting. That's where I've got to over the years and Dad and I is that sometimes it's uncomfortable.
Works.
Yes, it so works. But at times it's killed us, your dad and I, because it's not even halfway sometimes because we feel like we're getting railroaded. But now what's happened, we still have the boundaries, we still have morals, we're a good family, but we've let a lot go.
Yeah.
where we used to hold on tight to everything, didn't we? Like, you have to do this.
Very.
And
yes.
that was from fear too.
Yeah,
that kind of
well, yeah, of
parenting, which a
course.
lot of people do and still do, is the fear of the future, the fear of your children, the fear of what other people are going to think for you as a parent. But I had to let go a very long time of, I was a very big people pleaser, talking about this on the way, and used to get very offended and upset what people thought of me and my actions. But now I don't mind.
Yeah.
I don't mind. And that's been a very big transition for me. And I love the people in my life. But if someone to me tomorrow said, look, you know, I can't be whatever, and I would process that and be okay, where the old me was very worried about whatever.
Work around it, yeah.
And I think going through what we have as parents with you kiddos, with mental health and all of this, you really got to get to the place of not minding what other people think about you and your life. Because not caring is a big thing to say, because we care, but it doesn't bother me. And that's why
you can care, but just don't let it bother you in a way.
But
that's very,
because
very
I care
hard.
for people that are in our lives, but I'm really not bothered with what their views are on our parenting and whatever, because, you know, at times we thought we were failing for sure, your dad and I, but we stayed true to what, you know, I was learning. You know, your dad was great. He found it a lot harder being a man. Our brains are very different. But again, I'm very proud of him because he was able to adjust as well. Yeah. And that went against every cell in his body at times.
Oh, yeah.
You know that.
Yeah, it definitely did.
Yeah. So we haven't talked about dad so much as well as everything, and we're talking about things on the way here. You know, there are things, if there's a dad listening that, because obviously it's very different because the mum was around all the time, do you think it's harder for girls to often reach out with their dads, or do you think that's quite a
No.
generalising?
No.
Or
Well, yeah, kind of generalising, because you can be really close with your dad. You can be close with your mum, but sometimes you want comfort instead of solutions, and sometimes dads can give that.
Yeah, because dads want
to fix.
Yeah, don't you think dads try to fix as well?
Yeah, they
or
do,
not as bad?
but not as bad, because you can just tell them to stop.
Okay, yeah.
But then mums, you were always like thinking about it always.
Yeah.
Like, you got to do you.
And look, I'm just talking about a nuclear family here, because we're a man and a woman, but, you know, when you grow up, well, you are grown up, but, you know, you will marry a woman, you know, so that will be a different thing. So when I'm talking about this is more our family. I'm talking about, even when you've got a woman and a woman, it'll be different personalities. Like, you're a very different personality.
It doesn't matter. It just depends on the person.
Different parent, isn't it?
And different views. And, you know.
And also on reflection too, like if there's a single mother or a single father, you know, we really a child just needs one good parent.
Yeah.
So even if, say, for example, dad wasn't on board with things, at times he wasn't, I just kept feeling like I was on the right path. And at times he was not in the same, I often say, not even the same book, because his views were different. I just kept plodding along, and then he would see the changes.
Yeah.
So what I say to parents out there, man or woman, this awareness, this conscious parenting, this understanding, being connected with your children, guiding and mentoring them and working on yourself is really important.
Very important,
for the child, because like I say this all the time, but our frontal cortex is not fully developed until we're 25, which is your decision-making part of your brain. So as parents, we need to remember that.
Yeah.
Because when you've got an adult 19-year-old kid yelling at you or whatever, you know, it's very easy to think, well, they're adult. They're not. They haven't had the life experience. They're still living at home, and their decision-making part of their brain's hasn't been finalised. You know? So I suppose with all of that, if there was a child that sort of feels like they might be going through similar thoughts and processes around that and coming out, have you got any advice or support around that?
What, with the parents or?
Themselves, not even the parents. You know, like knowing that this is something that's entering your life, any way that you can help them process?
Maybe, what I recommend, you need to know, like, you need to make sure. Not, okay.
Play around before you make a decision?
No, that's not what I meant. But, like, you need to make sure you always know, but, like, you are comfortable enough in your...
Talking about it?
say, for example, you tell a friend and then they start telling everyone.
Sorry, which is going to happen.
No, like if you haven't come out, you told one friend,
Sure.
and then they tell everyone.
I gotcha.
You know?
Yeah.
You got to make sure you're ready for people to know in case that comes to it where you'll
Comfortable
be like,
enough. Because you wouldn't have been that comfortable, yeah?
Yeah.
No.
Like I was like, but as soon as it starts going around.
Yeah. You've got to deal with it.
But I guess people are going to have their opinions.
Yeah.
Obviously. But
Be comfortable enough with it.
yeah.
What would you say to a child whose parents finding it a bit hard? So if, say, for example, you knew we loved you, but we were not all accepting as what we were, would you be able to have
I don't know if I'd be able to put myself
advice in that?
Well,
yeah.
but
is who you are though.
Your parents are always going to love you no matter it's a matter of acceptance.
Yeah.
With
Of yourself?
No, of the parents. You know?
But accepting.
that's also
what happens if your parents weren't as accepting though?
That's
like,
what I mean.
You'd have to accept that.
Like they're always going to love you, but
you can't not be gay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're just going to have accepting
who you are. How about trying
gay,
to? Yeah.
You got to accept that some people aren't
Gotcha.
going to
be as accepting.
Yes.
Using that word a lot, aren't
including your parents.
Totally.
And it's like if you've accepted yourself enough and more comfortable in yourself, you start to understand that you aren't going to change your parents.
Yeah, okay. That's a good decision.
Views. As sad as that is.
It is sad, but
you can,
still love them.
Still love them and you can work around it, but it would be very hard.
Tough, yeah.
Yeah.
And I would think also, again, only watching you go through what you've been through is trying to find your people.
Yeah.
Like, when you're around your friends now that you're comfortable with, you can be yourself, you know, like, and they love you for you. They really love you for you. And I think through high school, that was such a challenge because you couldn't even be yourself.
No.
Not their fault particularly, but now you're so yourself and you're shining and you're funny and you're so cool. That's just from my mother.
Thanks.
But when I see your friends and you're around your friends now, you are your authentic self. Where on reflection, you hid so much before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which helped, I think.
Helped at the time.
Coming out?
Oh, I know. I meant hide it. Hiding it's hard.
Yeah.
Coming out's helped.
Because we were older.
Yes.
Like a bit older. If I had come out in like year 8, they'd be like, oh, it's just a phase.
Yeah.
Because he's young.
Yeah.
Type thing.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Without judgment. So here's another question for you on the back of all of that. If you could speak directly to little Eloise when you were younger, what would you like her to know? What would you tell her?
What would I tell her?
All the stuff you've been through, that beautiful, carefree Eloise and everything you've been through, what would you tell her? Reflect on your curly head, little wheezy.
I don't think I would tell her anything.
What?
Because you'd need to let it happen.
You're so funny with that.
No, but I just don't.
I know what you're trying to say.
But like, I think
it's going to be okay.
It's going to be okay. But then little Eloise would start freaking out if I say that.
I know that. Oh,
like,
right.
What do you mean it's going to be okay?
You're overthinking my question, but that's really cute. Yes.
Yeah, no, but like, if you think about it.
I know what you're saying.
But what I'd say
we're not literally talking to little Eloise.
I know.
Like,
I know. But what I'd say
so all the hard times that you've been through and what you've realised, what if you could do it, what would help her? Like it's going to be okay?
Basically.
You're gay?
No, because...
Definitely gay?
Oh, that's a good question because it's like that's...
You're pretty resilient though. You are that kind of person that sort of just goes, it is what it is. And I remember asking you after you finished high school, like what ended up happening is the group of friends that you probably, in my view, should have hung around with more, like the arty musical girls, which you feel very comfortable with. I said, oh, do you feel sad that you didn't hang around them more at high school? And you went, no, I'm actually okay that I went through everything I went through and it's made me who I am.
Yeah, well, that's what I've always been like.
That's very
which
grown
is
up.
Why you probably shouldn't have asked, asked.
I know.
You knew me. But
Jeez,
I know.
you're too literal.
I'm not like, I don't know. Alcohol. Wine's good.
No, it doesn't. No, it's not.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
terrible.
No, I think it's more important. You'll like yourself more than you'll feel the need to be liked soon enough.
Yeah, totally. And I think you hit the nail on the head, is that where you lost yourself, is that you were working so hard for people to like you and they just felt like they weren't.
Yeah. I just, people liked me, but I never felt fully liked.
You didn't.
At all.
You weren't invited to things and little baby.
Nah, we're fine.
No, but and the thing is what I love about you, and I think hopefully it's been a little bit of my supporting and parenting a little bit in the background, is that, you know, and I don't think I actually said these things when you were younger, but I've definitely said it as you're older, that everything definitely happens for a reason. I mean, there are things in life that are really tragic that I will never get the answers for, but these sort of things that are emotional or, you know, things that are sort of out of your control with that, I think sitting in that, okay, this is really shit, everything happens for a reason. And on reflection to that, you know, that time that I took you to hospital, when it was at its worst and things have been going for a long time, and I've told you this story, we were sitting in the emergency room for like 5 or 6 hours. Like those poor nurses and doctors were like, you know,
hectic,
so stressed out. And I'm not kidding you when I said I didn't look at my phone. I didn't think anything else. And this is really weird, but I do believe in, you know, a higher being, is I just kept saying this is happening for a reason. For the whole 5 hours. It's all I said in my brain. And I don't know if I couldn't process anything else, and it was pretty traumatic for me that I couldn't go anywhere else with that. But I didn't, all I said was that.
Yeah.
And every step of the way I remember, and I don't think you remember a lot of it, and a lot of it was hard. But now in reflection, I'm like, absolutely, for our lives and your life, that was meant to happen at that time, and I was there to guide your dad and support you to have this incredible life. You're still going to have your ups and downs, but instead of leaving your home and going through that, we were able to be there to support you through that.
Yeah,
you know, and sadly, it doesn't work out for everybody, and my mind can't even go there, and I feel so sad for families and people and how heavy the world can be. But this is our story, yours and mine, and our families, and at this time in this stage in our life, I think it definitely happened for a reason.
Yeah,
do you feel that?
I agree.
As crap as it was,
because there's not a doubt in my mind that if all of that, as much as it needed to happen.
Oh, terrible though, isn't it?
I know, horrible.
Some people don't have to go through that, and I hope lots of people don't. But that's all we know.
But they'll go through it later.
Maybe they won't.
Maybe they won't. Maybe you have a perfect life.
Look, no such thing, is it?
No.
But everyone has their troubles, isn't it? And I think that's what the hardest thing. So, you know, so I think obviously as a finishing point, we just want to talk about the hope is why we want to talk about this, is like when we do these sort of conversations, and I'm again so grateful that you want to share, is that a parent can hear this. There's hope. I'm like, please DM me.
Well, it's like I said in the car, it's like a review.
It's a review.
After review.
Yeah, an after review. And it works.
It works.
And also, it's so interesting to have you say that, because we weren't doing the conscious parenting.
Well, I saw it happening.
I know.
Instead of me doing it to me, I saw it, that conscious parenting.
I think I was doing it to a degree, meaning we were still letting you be yourself. We were supporting you through all those tough times.
You were like, you would change it up in a way. Worked. Of course it worked.
Yeah. But with the conscious parenting, which is now I'm certified in, meaning lived experience, it works. We're on the other side of it, you and Molly, and is going well, in our view.
Yes.
Is then why I got certified in conscious parenting with Dr. Shafali, who is the founder of it, who is a psychologist who has a doctorate and doing psychology for years, and she just was working with families, and there was just spaces that were missing, and kids weren't getting better, and the families were breaking up, and she's like, what's going on? So she created like an Eastern Western, is the way she explains it, is like your inner work as parents. So conscious parenting is just being conscious and aware of why we do those things, why we were so hard on those things, and just adjusting things ever so slightly, sometimes quite intensely, but also believing in yourself as people and as parents, one parent, two parent, and being that mentor and guide rather than that, you know, authoritarian, do as I say, and then destroying the child within because of what we want, you know. And with a compliant child like you, if we didn't change, you would have just got more and more depressed. Yeah. So you didn't talk back, or you didn't, you know, did everything we wanted, but we were indirectly not helping. We were sort of contributing to.
You thought you were doing, you thought you were
had
helping,
to let a lot go
because I wasn't.
Because we were pushing too much.
Yeah.
So the conscious parenting, it really simply is being super aware when your kids are struggling. Again, people are going to go through their parenting time and it's not going to be challenging like us, and that's fine. But if it gets tough, conscious parenting. So I work with families all around the world, but again, it's like a review. It's like, it works. Because if I got to the other side and it didn't work, I would have gone, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
But it does. And the world continues to change all the time, so we've got to keep adjusting to parenting. So my biggest advice to parents listening is please DM if you feel stuck or it feels a little bit familiar. I'm always there, hanging out there. I am helping families in this space if they're finding it hard to parent some teens or preteens, but also check out your local sort of family therapists, because what we found over time is individual therapy is got its place and it's great, but if you're having situations in your family and it's just not working, get into a family therapist. So that's like with the child and the parents. So then you really get to understand what's going on for everyone, not just blaming the child or blaming the parents. So really the biggest finishing off question is 0 out of 10, how are you feeling at life at the moment? Oh, come on. It's not that hard.
9.3.
Oh, that's amazing. The reason why we joke about that, because at the darkest, deepest times when we were getting family therapy, counselling and stuff like that, we literally had to ask you, like,
rate it out of
1 out, and sometimes it was like a negative. Or
was
it wasn't like a 0 or a 1.
It
was like a nothing.
Go into the negatives.
And it was really just, there's not a lot of conversation going on, but it's like, how are you today? We could just judge with that without having a conversation. But this conversation is that there's hope. When you're really down, it is a small time in our lives, and that for parents, if we can, it's our job to support them out of it, and really lower expectations around schooling and stuff like that if they're struggling, because they will be okay once they're mentally okay.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as perfect parents. Perfect children, perfect family, absolutely no way. Everyone's got craziness going on in different ways, and that's the beautiful craziness of being human. What really matters the most, I think, if we can, is our willingness to hear our children and listen rather than tell, or fix. Like when things feel they're not working, pause, parents, bite your tongue off, hear them out, It took a long time for me to adjust to getting to this place. It wasn't always easy. I definitely got upset at times. I definitely got angry at times. I definitely have things that I can remember, but I've asked Molly and she can't remember. So, all of those things. So just softening and trying to be connected. And I think always in this way that we live now is tear and repair, meaning we have arguments, whatever. We must try and repair after. It doesn't have to be in the moment, but if there's something as an adult that we've done that's hurtful or said something that's not nice or whatever, and we know that doesn't feel right, when we feel right, we need to say sorry.
Well, it helps,
I know.
When your kids are, adult as well. If you learn that, take a little breather.
Totally.
And then apologise after. You can have a fight or an argument.
No one likes arguing. No one likes fighing. But it's actually
it's
human nature to have difference of opinions.
It's a special tool when you get older.
That's right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And also, there's so many things we can go deep dive into that.
Yeah.
So for yourself and sort of as you were, when your times of feeling down, which hasn't not been that long ago, again, you've had things happen in your life where you're pretty down. What was your go-to to try and help you get through those days?
My go-to. Well, you know how there's ways you can distract yourself with going on your phone.
Like art.
I
would
would distract
do
myself in
things.
other ways.
Yeah.
Like art stuff.
Yep.
Music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You tried to work really hard at not being on your phone as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
Sometimes. Well, look, thank you so much.
Thank you.
have loved this conversation. I hope it really helps other families out there and being so vulnerable and open at your age, because it took me into my late 40s to be able to do that. So thank you so much.
No, thank you.
Love you with all my heart.
Thanks for having me on your...
Parenting Collective.
Yeah.
Love you. Thanks.
I love you. Bye.
Bye. So if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to leave me a rating and review. I love reading all of your messages, so shoot me a DM over on Instagram. It is parentingcollective.au. I also offer a free 15-minute no-obligation phone chat. If you'd like to book one, head over to my website, www.parentingcollective.au. parentingcollective.com.au and request one there. So try to remember to be kind to yourself and always know you're doing the best you can every day, no matter what your day is looking like. Until next time, much love.